All right. We are live. I'm only 9 minutes late. Just fine. I had a phone call I had to take. Big thing happening. Not really. That was the only time the person could call me. So we're going to get, I don't know what we're going to get done today, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury. All I know is I just had two cheesesteak sandwiches on cinnamon raisin bagels. And man, that's repeating on me. That's a coming back on me. So, but we're gonna get some writing in. I think. I would like to submit. I didn't submit that story, but I think I only have the next couple days to do it. So, plus they're mowing the grass today, right now. So, that noise to look forward to. Although these guys do it in about 5 minutes. So, who knows what's going on out there? Hello, yellow peeps. What does that even mean? Is that derogatory? Haas, what did I miss? You missed literally nothing. Me talking. 1,500 words in so far. All right, Chad. 0 words in so far for me. What are you running today, Armand? Well, here's the thing, Chad. I don't know. I want to finish this short story. So flash fiction, 500 to 1,000 words. And it's due in 2 days. I'm at 213 words on it. So if I can get anything over 500, I'll be happy. I have no idea what the story is, where it's going or anything, as per the usual. I put up a review of, no, I did not put up a review. Tomorrow, I think. Wait, did I put it up? I don't know. Problem is when you're recording a bunch of stuff. No, tomorrow, Fun City Heist review will go up. I mentioned you by name in it, Chad. Just so you know, I put you in a esteemed company with it. In a steamer trunk. I put you in a steamer trunk with 3 other authors. You're welcome. All right, Josh Dean hitting the just doing the drive-by comments. Goodness. He just did a lot of comments on one post. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, because you will hopefully will be watching this later. Lorraine in the house, celebrity. I just left a comment on your coffee shirt, Armand. I thought you were going to do the chat today. Glad you are. I wasn't going to, but the person who was going to call me, the only time he had available was at noon. And I was like, you know what? Call me. It shouldn't take that long. But then he called me at like quarter of. He took his lunch early, which was nice. And then we talked, and then I'm on, and it was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes after. I'm like, I could jump on right now. I should have set this thing up. I miss you guys. I wanted to talk to you. So I was like, you know what? Not that I'm having a bad day. I'm not having a great day. I'm having like a midday. I can feel I'm on the edge of the depression. And it's, again, if you have there's no real reason for it. Other than these guys are cutting the grass right now while I'm on. I'll check it out. Please don't check it out for another couple hours, though. Lorraine said, okay. Ha says, morning, Chad. Morning, Lorraine. Hi there. Everybody's saying hi. Thanks, Haas, for the great comment on my last video. It means a lot. I'm glad it helps, Lorraine. Without getting into anything heavy or anything else, are you? Because I don't know if you know this, but we all genuinely care about you, about your well-being, about, you are our friend. You were definitely my friend. So I just want to make sure everything is fine. And I'm from New Jersey, so if you want me to kill somebody, I mean, no, don't say that on this. All good, though. All right. Well, getting some comments on some videos here. That's nice. Check. Can you even legally kill someone if you live in New Jersey? I think I'm going to be honest with you. I think you have to. I think can you legally not kill somebody if you're from New Jersey is the better question. There's Charlie. Charlie just had a couple of comments on my video. Appreciate that, sir. Like I said before, we need more Lorraines in the world. Exactly. Because then we can blame it on Lorraine. See what I did there? You know, that joke never gets old. Ever. All right. I really do want to get this stupid flash fiction piece done. Lorraine, you'll be happy to know I made 2 cheesesteak sandwiches today. And what did I put the cheesesteaks on? Cinnamon raisin bagels. That's right. 2 cinnamon raisin bagel cheesesteak sandwiches for lunch. Delicious. Well, these guys went odd. They had both riding mowers out today to cut the lawn in 5 minutes or less. Literally, they've been here about 8 minutes so far. Two guys. Ugh. Now what are they doing? Now they're using the blower. The guy already did the edging and everything. Better them than me. That's what I always say. So this guy, it's going to get loud soon because he's got the blower out. Oh, goodness. Chad, I don't know if you saw the Phillies also fired their manager today. And then they offered Cora the job. And he's like, no, I'm going to spend time with my family. And also he's making, he still gets paid for $7 million this year and $7 million next year. So I don't think he needs to manage probably anymore is my guess. But they made Don Mattingly the manager. He was the bench coach there. Okay, now I need a tissue. Be right back. You should always have tissues near you. Wow, all these firings. Yesterday was a tiger break, so I didn't watch any games. Yeah, so the next one has got to be the Mets. I mean, they are as bad as the Phillies. But, you know, the Mets will be the team that doesn't fire their manager and then stays in last place with all of that payroll. So that's what I'm hoping for because I can't stand the Mets. I mean, I hate the Yankees, but I can't stand the Mets because they always just think they're going to win, and they don't. They never win. It's great. Plus 1986. Ah, good. Keith's here. Thankfully, everybody can stop complaining. Where's Keith? Where's Keith? Where the heck is Keith? Keith is here. So everybody, calm it down now. How many words this morning, Keith? Chad wrote a bunch of words this morning. Can't hear anybody. $1,000 words. Nice, Keith. Nice. Chad beat you. 1,500 words. You beat me by 1,000 words. Lorraine says, my face will never go back to normal at this rate. Armin, I truly appreciate you and all you guys here. Armin, I hope your days get brighter. I hope your days also get brighter. I hope all of our days get brighter, except for one person. You know who you are. So do people in New York have this Yankees versus Mets rivalry? We have that here with Michigan State versus Michigan college football. Oh, no, you didn't, Armin. I did. I surely did. Not really. The Mets are the redheaded stepchild of the Yankees. Never been really that much of a threat, all that much kind of thing. There were 2001 after 9/11. There's been pockets. There's been a few years, but Yankees and Mets have never both been really good at the same time together. Okay. So that's really, and it's mostly been the Yankees have been a lot better than the Mets. So most of the New York Post, most of the headlines growing up were Yankees. What is Reggie Jackson saying? So it was never a lot of Mets stuff. It was negative Mets stuff. The Mets trade Tom Seaver, those kinds of things. So, but yeah, that's not a really rivalry. Yankees, Red Sox is the rivalry. Mets, I don't know who their rival would be. Themselves, really. Management. Raisin. Cinnamon raisins should not be used to commit crimes with. It's against nature. Lorraine, it is delicious. Listen to me. Listen. This is what I'm going to say. Several people in my life have went, you put tuna fish and cinnamon raisin bagels? That's disgusting. I say, no. You make your bagel and you put a piece of cheese on it. I prefer Swiss, but you know what? A slice of American works just as well. So then the hole at the bottom of the bagel, nothing falls through. Then I put all of the tuna on top. And then I eat that. And you know what? The tang of the tuna with the delicious taste of the cinnamon raisin bagel. I mean, that's got to be one of my favorite meals of all time. In fact, I probably more than likely am going to have that for dinner tonight. And I'm going to take a picture of it for Lorraine. I just saw my friend Elaine just sent me a message. Too many things going on. Charlie says, aren't Yankees and Red Sox the big rivals up there? Yeah. How dare you mention the Red Sox, Charlie? Red Sox are the team. That's my team. Hi, Charlie and Keith. I didn't say hello earlier, just too slow on the draw. Like here, you can't root for both Michigan teams. You have to pick one. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, here it's Florida. It's the Gators, and it's the Georgia. You're a Gator or a dog. You cannot be both. And that's why they have that Georgia-Florida game. They would have it here. I guess they won't have it here this year because of the stadium being remodeled. That's a huge, huge rivalry. I don't care either way. I don't follow college football. I follow players for the draft. The draft was very fun last week to watch. Keith says, the year we moved to Florida, them SOBs won the World Series. Dead to me. It's you out of Massachusetts because you are a masshole. Are we still saying hi to each other? Brent says, I'm jealous of your 1,000 words, Keith. I'm so behind, but at least I'm half finished with my third. Few more days, Lorraine. Few more days. Book release. Book release time. Charlie says, can you explain that bagel meal all over again? I had an ad in the middle of it. All right, here we go. Cinnamon raisin bagel. Slice of Swiss cheese is my preference, but when I don't, I just get an American slice of American cheese, right? Put it on. That way, nothing falls through the hole. Then I take tuna. I'll use very little bit of mayo, just enough to clump it, because I don't like the taste of mayo. But tuna by itself, it just falls all over the place. And then I put tuna on it, and then I eat it, and it is a delight on your taste buds. And I've had people who were like, that's disgusting. And I'm like, try it. My buddy David Royal was like, you know what? That's not bad at all. I used to get it. Duncan used to have tuna. And anytime I went to Duncan, I would always get it. And they would always say, on a cinnamon raisin bagel, I'm like, trust me. And then the next time I went back, the guy was like, I tried it. That's not bad at all. It has a really good little taste to it. Chad says no, Charlie. Chad did more words than I did. Yeah, well, you know what? There's always tomorrow. Charlie needs to know. I just told you. Little masshole. You never heard that before? Oh my God, yeah. Masshole is real. I still have my certificate. Gonna call Jason Brandt that for now. Yeah, you definitely. I mean, I'm sure Jason's heard that about, I don't know, a billion times. Speaking of words, Frank's death look has me speechless. Speechless in a good way, or speechless as in, holy crap, what did I just read? And where the hell is Frank? Ugh. Chez says Frank is rereading his Lansdale book before it goes back to the library. Probably, yeah. Chet always blows the lid off of word count. I can't keep up with that. Yeah, Frank. Chad. Whoever. Chad. I used to kill that. I don't anymore. Although last Friday I wrote 2,800 words for the first time in a long time. Two different stories. That's because he has rediscovered his passion. Exactly. That's what you got to have. Passion and faith. Book release equals relief. There is no, listen, I've put out over 200 releases in my career. And still, the next book that comes in, that unboxing is going to be amazing. That never gets old, Lorraine. It never gets old to have a copy of your book in your hand with your name on the cover, hopefully spelled right. And I will be grabbing a copy. Let us know when it drops, Lorraine. Let us know on next Tuesday, because I am going to, like I said, I'm going to grab a copy in Kindle Unlimited and read it, and then I will also order a print copy when that becomes available. And then I will do a review on it. 1 star, awful. No. Keith, I will start your book tonight at bedtime. Hopefully it won't scare me so much that I can't sleep. Says, I've only been doing it the past week and a half because I set a ridiculous goal. Once I do that, there's no turning back. Book release means you refresh the same 10 websites over and over again. That is your plans for the day. Yeah. He says, cool, thank you. Yeah, pretty much that book comes out, it drops, and you immediately go to your Amazon author page and you immediately hit refresh to go, oh my God, somebody read three pages, you know. Armand, when does the 3rd book in the Painted Black series come out? Lorraine says you lost me, Chad. Excellent question. July. I don't have a date yet. It's going to be on a Tuesday. July. And then the follow-up trilogy, which is the White trilogy, that first one comes out in October, then January next year, and then April is the last one. And then me and Tom are done with our trilogies. I'm not at this point. I'm not writing with Tom again because I'm trying to get an agent and whatnot. Ches, I was half joking, Lorraine. It's the anticipation of selling books and seeing reviews for the book. Yeah. I definitely have to be on next Tuesday, though. I will also have a release next Tuesday. I just looking at my planner. It's just a Dying Days box set, books 1 to 4. I'm doing 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, spacing them out. So I have releases. I have a release all the way into next February, and then April, and then July, and then November next year. So about every other month, roughly. Month every month or two. And hopefully by then I will have a, what do you call it? Hopefully I will, this book will be done and I will have it out there. I didn't get the 10 websites part. Ignore my ignorance and move on. I'm looking at probably a late May release for the second Neon Owl. All right. Nice. Knock that crap out. Let's go. And then a June release for the 3rd, July release for the 4th, also July release for the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Haas says, God, I'm an amateur in a room full of pros. I'll just sit here in the... That's great, Chad. I'll grab that one too. That's the follow-up I was always been looking for with Chad. What is this lady's name? Okay. What was his name? Desmond. Sandra and Desmond. Chad says 10 websites, as in like Amazon, Goodreads, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, KDB Dashboard, Blue Sky, waiting to be tagging reviews and checking sales. Yep. Charlie says, me too. We prefer calling him Haas. I post my stuff for free on Substack. You had a paid thing today, though, didn't you, Charlie? You too? I'm feeling good about the new owl. I don't think it will disappoint. You know, that owl will hoot and fly. Just Amazon chat, I have to keep it simple. Lorraine says that. But as soon as she finds out, somebody posts it. So what I do, I've done for years, is I set up a Google automatic search of my name. And so every day I'll get an email, I'll get a listing of anything that my name was mentioned in. And a lot of times it's like stuff I've posted. A lot of times it's stuff, it's like my cousin Armand, because of something, because he's the official scorer for the AAA for the Yankees. So I'll get stuff from him or whatever. But and a lot of times it's pirated stuff. I'll get stuff that I'm on a pirate site and then I have to go and do a takedown. But otherwise, a lot of it is like a review or something, or I've done a podcast interview and 6 months later they put the podcast interview up, those kinds of things. So it's actually an easy thing to do to set up a search of your name, especially if you don't have a common name. If your name's John Smith, don't worry about it. All right, so Armand, you doing a review of my book will make more than my day. I'll be able to write smiley faces on the whole month. I do like smiley faces. If I could stop getting ads for Quillbot, that'd be great. I don't know what Quillbot is. Yesterday, so I'm just like running. I was just like running everything again. Maybe I missed something, and which I did. A lot of the old Twitch stuff now has ads. There's like 131 videos or something, and a lot of I mean, every ad is golf. I'm like, I don't know what you think you're doing. Troy says, I did, but it's just a story notes post. The next chapter of my paid novella will be out Friday. I'll have a free flash fiction Thursday, and then the first half of the story Monday for free too. Okay, very cool. I just saw the email of it. I didn't open the email, but it looked like it said paid. I'm probably at some point in the next couple of weeks going to do a paid level for YouTube, and it'll probably be like kind of like that, where it'll be behind the scenes of books and what went into it and those kinds of things. But I don't want to I just don't want to put it up to do it. I got to do some more research on it because I don't want to do it wrong. Chad says, I have the Google search thing enabled too, but it only sends me a fraction of what is out there. That's usually a day or two late. Yeah, it's not as good as it used to be because of all the AI stuff on Google. But I still get a couple things that I'm like, probably every week, one or two things I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was out there. Or I didn't know somebody's talking about me on like Reddit or something, which I'm really not on. Quillbot is one of those AI assistants. Oh. You've used it though, right? I mean, it's got to be really good. It's got to be helping you write all your books and making you millions of dollars, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know how to turn those off. I still owe an Amazon review for Chad's book. I'm sorry for being behind. Signed, Lemonade Lady. Is it like Grammarly, Keith? Man, I hate Grammarly. Chad just does not like Grammarly. Trey says, I do story notes and what I'm working on post just to increase the amount of stuff for paid. The real paid stuff is the novella, and then in a couple of months, mailing out a physical zine. Nice. Keith says, you know the behind the scenes I want to see. That's for your eyes only, buddy. I mean, unless anybody wants to give me any money. I was thinking on Substack to do what I'm doing on Patreon. The chapters and short stories, but in the behind the scenes stuff. But again, I don't know. I don't know if I want to commit to that. So somebody had an idea. So every second Thursday of the month, we used to go to the Chinese buffet. Now we go to the Japanese buffet. And there are several of us. There's me. There's 3 different mics. There's Win. There's Amanda used to come. And so it's 4 or 5 of us. And somebody came up with the idea of why don't you go live? Why don't you do a YouTube live for the hour or 2 that we're there, and we can talk shop? And I said, here's the problem with that. There's several problems I won't get into now, but I'm like, it's loud. We're in a restaurant. I go to relax. That's usually my 1 or 2 days out a month that I'm actually leaving the house. And I don't want to have to do work at that point. I don't want to set up my phone to do it. I don't want to set up a laptop. I don't have screens. I won't be able to see who's making comments. And it's work, and I don't want to do it. And I don't think it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to bring in a ton of subscribers and whatnot. So not interested. Also, the group we have of people, nothing against them, but half of them don't even really, they're not really writers. You know what I'm saying? One of them's he's written one very super long book, and he's never published. And he probably never will. The other one works with a vanity press, more or less. The other couple put out a book a year. I don't know. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. He says, I don't know. I don't use it, but the commercial says it uses AI to humanize your AI writing. Exactly. Ugh, that's ridiculous. So it's like a way to better hide the cheat sheet up your sleeve. Yeah. Keith agrees. There's Mike. The biggest issue is that I talk like Prince, so nobody can. Yeah. Also, there's Mike Lee. I had the phone conversation with him today. That's who called. Mike talks very, very low, and I'm like the phone or whatever. Half the time he's talking when we're sitting like next to each other, I just nod my head. I'm like, I have bad hearing from all those concerts all these. I can't even hear half the shit he's saying. Like he can literally be saying, "I want to have sex with you. Follow me to the bathroom," and I'm like, yeah, Or he's like, "Just hand over your wallet, and I'm going to take all the big bills out of it." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, whatever you say, yeah." He does talk like he's super low when he talks. I had him and his girl came over for dinner one night, and luckily she's normal loud, but I had time. I'm like, even Shelly was like, "What did he even say?" I'm like, I don't know. I didn't hear a word he said. Or he said, "I don't know how to do any of that." Yeah, that's way over my head of how to set all that stuff up. You see the size of that new Malfi book, man. One of these days, I want to just one that big. Yeah, he's apparently doing very good with it. I think it's his last. I think it's a Titan book, if I'm not mistaken. It's his last book with them. But then his agent struck up a deal for like a 3-book set with somebody with one of the big 5 or something. So it allows him to drink a lot of alcohol and to play with his band and not worry about money. Mike says, "Oh, so that's why you looked at me weird when I offered." Yeah. I mean, if I had known, if you had just spoken up like a normal person. Now, thankfully, Mike isn't a close talker. He's just a low talker. Mike Lee is like, "So should I go wide?" And Armin is like, "I agree." Exactly. Mike will be at MondoCon again this year. Not other people will not. I just don't have the room. I just don't want all the. Oh, did I write that down? Something else for my list. I got to make sure I email the guy to text him to do the what do you call it? It's the coffee mugs. All right, stepped away for a second, came back to see you here. Hilariously, I GM and I'm loud, and then because I'm presenting. Outside of that, I'm a far away soft speaker. Yeah. Mike, on next Tuesday, Lorraine's book comes out. So just letting you know. So it looks like I just got an email. It looks like Patreon is going to be changing in some way. Well, let's see what this crap is. Chess says that's like Bob Ross, ex-drill sergeant turned squirrel whisperer. Oh yeah, congrats. What's the title? So I can get a copy. Yeah, tell everyone the title. Lorraine. I like how I say that so mean for no reason. So there's a new thing on Patreon. I don't know what it is. My Patreon has suffered. Okay, I get it. Maybe Lorraine is not in at the moment. Hmm. Lorraine's book title is That Which Is True Cannot Be. Thank you, Keith, for the save. For the kick save. It's getting a little cloudy out there. Ooh. How far are you into the next book, Lorraine? Is it going to be a sequel or is it a brand new thing? Two-part question. Jez says the thing that should not be true, which cannot be great Metallica song. That is a good Metallica song. That did feel like a Frank joke, yeah. I'm the glue that keeps things together. You are the straw that stirs the drink. You are the wind beneath something. The law of non-contradiction. Tom Duffy in the house. The spoon that stirs the pot. The chicken that makes the soup. Good one. Keep them coming. Yeah, I think I jumped the shark on that one. No beans day. Is that a thing? I don't believe I'm going to have beans today at all. Great Spinal Tap song, Break Like the Wind. Classic. Not quite as good as a shark sandwich. Brand new, halfway through a Southern Gothic psychological suspense with paranormal elements. Chuck Will's Widow. It. It's my second Longing for the Blue Heron comes out hopefully mid June. Anyone remember Chuck Barris? Who doesn't? Nick Zinn in the house. Nick Zinn in the house. Another shark movie coming out. I suppose there's always going to be. You could always just say, new shark movie coming out, you know. Oh, there's a girl walking her dog. She's very, very skinny, but she's wearing super, super tight. It's you know this pants are they're like the when you ride a horse riding pants. She doesn't have the hat though. She should be walking around with the hat too. Saw a TV ad for Deep Water. A TV ad. They got that on TV ads. Wow. I can't wait for I don't know in like a month for that to be on Netflix or something. Lorraine says, "Hi Nick, no sharks yet, but I have a feeling you're about to change that." Oh yeah, going to be the biggest shark movie of May. You might be right, Nick. Nick hides behind the door like Lenny and Squiggy, waiting for the perfect segue. Yep. Hello, Lorraine. That's what he says. Which ties into Spinal Tap. I mean, it all makes sense if you really put it together like a quilt. No Beans Day was meant to shut down Keith's joke. Ah. Oh, that does make sense, yeah. The cat's sneezing. Tom Duffy, Chuck Barris, you've won a 1 week vacation to the Eastern Soviet bloc. Yeah. Spinal Tap, Chuck Barris, Lenny and Squiggy. What decade am I in? You're trapped in a typical Armand's opinion video is where you are. All right, so Owen Armand, the third book will only be about 50 to 60,000 words long, like my first two, which are 91K. Wow. Nick hide behind the green door. Well, I'm looking forward to all of those, Lorraine. It better be good. If I'm in the conversation, expect 70s and 80s references and lots of them. Lots of them. I cannot spell this woman's name with a capital letter. How much do you get when I complete a survey advertisement? A lot of money. I have no idea. Tom says, my Instagram feed is now mainly videos of Tim Conway making people break character. Chad's as well. That dude was a funny man. Funny little man. Frank, you missed a lot already, but, welcome in now. Do you get more if I answer honestly? I think I get less if you answer honestly. I think you're supposed to answer the way they want you to answer. That's where you've been the last 48 minutes. You've been answering a survey. Frank Edler in the house. I literally said about a half an hour ago, who the hell is Frank? So I'm glad you're here. No, you did not pick up my book recently, you liar. I picked up your book recently. Really? Because I don't see a sale on my dashboard of it. That's odd. That's odd. That book hasn't sold in 3 months. So, Mr. Spam, did you steal my book? I mean, be possible. I mean, I guess technically it would. My back has been hurting the last 3 days. I think from all that walking I did on Saturday. Frank, here's a summarization. Raisin bagel recipe. Lorraine is left speechless by your death book, and I performed a joke in your honor on accident. Have you sold any permafrost in the last couple of weeks? Yeah, I've sold several. Thank you, sir. I've also had a ton of page reads on it, too. That's my number 2 book right now in sales. Frank. Got my Amazon payment for February. I can get an egg roll now. Where are you getting such cheap egg rolls? Have you tried more blueberries to help your bag? No, but on my list, the first thing on my grocery list is blueberry muffins, since they didn't have those at the Blueberry Festival left. Frank says, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Lorraine, come on, get a lady in the house." Charlie says, "Awesome. That video is one of my highest viewed. So thank you for sharing." Oh, very cool, very cool. Thank you for reviewing the book. Hopefully, it helped. I've sold 14 copies, and probably about that many in page reads so far. Lorraine says, love Tim Conway. That's two loves. That means she really loves Tim Conway. She's not like, yeah, I like Tim Conway. No, she's like, double love Tim Conway. Chez says, you also missed me learning the term masshole for the first time and rolling on the floor about it. He was literally on the floor rolling around. I saw the video. He says, I got a whole 50 cents deposit to say, thanks, Amazon. They're working for you. I was apologizing for whatever needs apologizing for, and Death Gets a Book. Yeah. Dorfon writing. those Dorfon golf videos back in the day, you see the commercial, and they're just so completely stupid, you gotta laugh. But I'm like, well, I'm a kid. I'm supposed to laugh at that. Him kneeling down on a pair of golf shoes. But then as you get older, you're like, it's still funny. Good afternoon, Slice. You guys been busy? Welcome in, Matthew. I totally watched Dorfon writing. Would he be kneeling down instead of sitting in a chair? Though he'd probably be kneeling down at a little tiny desk. I'll take my Tim Conway with a side of Don Knotts. You can't beat those juggernauts of comedy from back in the day. You can't. Haas says Tim Conway and Don Knotts in the Apple Dumpling Gang. Still one of my all-time favorite guilty pleasures. Phenomenal classic. Frank says his laptop is on the grass because he writes on a golf course. Oh yeah, that does make sense. Matthew says, I'm living in Don Knotts' hometown. Do you ever see him at the grocery store? Chad says I prefer to call him Mr. Furley. You know what? He's had so many other great roles. But yeah, Mr. Furley probably is probably my favorite. Ryan says, hi, Frank. You know how I said I'm reading your book, Death Gets a Book? Well, I'm a little shell-shocked, but not shocked. I don't know if I can survive the maleness. Have anything more female-friendly? I don't think he does. That's funny. Yeah, he's a very male-centric writer. Chaz says, man, I haven't seen Apple Dumpling Gang in literally 50 years. I think I watched it once. I think my mom put it on for my kids when they were little. So probably it's been almost 20 years. Key says, Frank needs a sticker on his book now with more testosterone. I don't think you can have any more testosterone. Tom lies and said Exploding Bears is very female friendly. A Death in Toledo is a female Grim Reaper. Well, it's not your fault, Frank. I was warned ahead of time. Yeah, Lorraine, you knew going into it what was likely going to happen. And listen, nobody is surprised. Death Gets a Book is actually a male romance novel. Well, there you go. According to Frank Gedler. I also put down red potatoes. A good red potato. I cut them up with sausage or put them in the air fryer. That's a good meal. I don't care what you say. Matthew says, "I'd be surprised. I'll be surprised if anyone really feels like reading my book. It's a fantasy. Maybe Mike Lee, if he's still in the house. Fantasy is a popular genre. Thompson, sometimes you get very still, and I think my video has frozen. Then again, A Death in Toledo also features baseball. Haas says, Hot Lead and Cold Feet, not a Don Knotts film, but his role in that one is hilarious. Jack Elam, too. Matthew says, it's also oversaturated and easy to screw up. Loren says, hi, Matthew, I'm behind in welcoming people into the chat. Too many distractions over here in my house. Frank says, just don't read my books, Lorraine. You're a lady. That might be a good idea. Whenever I have my videos on in the background, like if I'm working over here, I'll put it on this monitor and I look over and yeah, I'm just sitting really still reading something. I'm like, then I always have to hover the mouse over to see if I accidentally paused it or something. Then I'm like, oh no, my sexy head's moving. I'm good. Keith reads fantasy. Matthew says, Lorraine, hugs. I've been busy helping my mother after surgery and trying to keep my house clean. Writing has been on the back burner again. Nick says, are there female protagonists in Shocker? There is one female, I believe. She might not be really the nicest of people. Chaz says, haven't read Shocker, but I've seen the cover. I know what that hand is doing. Stay away from that one, Lorraine. Yeah, Lorraine, do not read Shocker. Lorraine says, yeah, I was wondering if Tom was joking. Tom is always joking. Do not read Shocker, Lorraine. Yeah. Do not read that book or that trilogy. Even though it's brilliant. Matthew says, how can I DM you? Nick says, I don't know when Tom is ever serious, Lorraine. Yeah, Tom amuses himself. So anything Tom says, ignore. Tom says, I'm always serious even when I'm not. Yeah, because I can't have it. I'll just keep moving my head until I get a headache. Tom Grain of Salt Duffy, we call him. That was his nickname in high school. I've interviewed him. I can attest to it. Chaz, like asking Zach Wild to get serious just for a minute. Yeah. I feel bad that I can't finish it, Frank, but nobody blames you. Maybe Armor can wear one of those hats with a spinning propeller on top. That way we'll know the video hasn't frozen. Charlie says that is a good idea. The problem is then if I sit still for long enough, then the propeller will stop moving. Unless we get a battery powered one. Lorraine says, I hope your mother recovers quickly, Matthew. I second that motion. That was rude of me not to even say anything. Leave it to Lorraine to say the right thing. And the rest of you people did not even comment. You are awful. I guess when I'm writing, I'm very still. Nope. Blame it on the rain. I'm going to sing that stupid song for the rest of the day. Says you should get a safety pin rubber band piercing on your cheek to match your goatee, Armand. Yeah, I'll keep that under advisement. Haas says, yes, sorry, Matthew, you should have mentioned it. We wish you and your mother the best. Exactly. Key says, ditto. I need to start reading your book, Matthew, but it may have to be my last fantasy novel because I don't want to encourage other people to send 500 plus page fantasy books my way. Your book is my exception. Yeah, that's always the problem when you read out of genre and you tell people, then they're always like, I'll do that. Rubber bands like Captain Lou is the move. That would be the move. Do they have any that are just like glue-ons? Because I don't want to pierce myself. Matthew says, Lorraine, well, the book is 123,000 words. That's like 2 of my books. It's like 4 of Chad's books. Captain Lou Albano's piercing is the piercing ever next to that guy in Skid Row. Yeah, those 2 are definitely up there. Lorraine, I insist you don't finish it. It's all good. I'd rather you not hate me for the things I write. Wish you told the rest of us that, Frank. Nick says, how come fantasy novels have to be doorstops? Why not a 60,000 brief fantasy quest? I don't know. Maybe that's not what the people want to read. They want to be invested. Nick, the book she's reading of mine is just book 1. No, I mean the latest one, Matthew. Isn't it 500 plus? That does not go for the rest of you. Everyone else suffers. Yeah, I know. We all have to read it. I get it. Well, I wrote 546 words of this short story, and now I have no idea where it's going. So probably go through these emails real quick, try to move my head around a bit, and then write on something else. Pop-Tarts just brought back a beloved flavor after 4 years, but only for a limited time. And they're going to read all this crap, blah, 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 blah. Star-Spangled Blueberry is back. The official snack of U.S. soccer. I could not care less about U.S. soccer. It's a flaky red crust and a sweet blue colored. Come on, stop. Blue colored blueberry filling. It's topped with white icing plus red and blue sprinkles. First time in 4 years. All right, we've done the Pop Tart conversation already, so we're not going to get back into that one. But that's something interesting, you know. Chess says you can't level from 1 to 100 in less than 400 pages. Lorraine says I have both of those books. Matthew, oh, you mean my sci fantasy? Yeah, that's still 120,000. Haas says I can't stand writing doorstops. I refuse to write stories over 35,000 words. Really, what's wrong with my memory? 35K is my jam. Yes, it is, Chad. Plus, anything I write over 35K stinks. Tom says, look at Pop Tarts trying to be relevant. What do you mean trying to be relevant? Pop Tarts are relevant. Man says, I don't write any. I have a 30K book that's comedy and a 55K book that's dark. Robert Chash Chute in the house. 2 Zeds if you're nasty. Late to the party today. Have you crushed your enemies and made a child weep today? Not yet. We're too busy talking about Don Knotts and Tim Conway. Tom says he's crushed a child and made an enemy weep. Oh, so Tom now's calling out that I'm fat. Thanks, Tom. My first book was rushed and it was 93K. Until I started reading the books you guys write, the only novella I've read was I Who Have Never Known Men. I keep aiming for 15K and overshoot by 10K every time. Why don't you try for 25K and see if you hit 50K or 4K? I can't hate you, Frank. You're too funny to hate. Yeah, but Lorraine, looks aren't everything. Yeah, the essentials is right. I mean, this is life-changing conversation we have in here on a daily basis. Make sure you don't skip any of the ads, Robert Chest. Shoot. Watch them all. We'll just hold the conversation for you. Hopefully we're having a lot of, at this point, we're having a lot of ads running. I'm going to try to set this up so that every minute 6 minutes of ads. That might be too much. Matthew, now I remember I was thinking anything longer than my novels are a little long for me to be able to keep with my 2 to 3 promotional videos per month. The Shoot says, I've read 2 short books in the last week and it's really turned me around on writing shorter. Termush and A Short Stay in Hell are pretty great. I just read, which I've done I think it'll be out tomorrow, or maybe this afternoon, Fun City Heist, set on the Jersey Shore. That's like 200 pages, short book, really, really good. Ray says, but my brain scrambled in the usual doorstop word counts from a lot of fantasy novels. You did say I tend to have a lot to say in my books. Haas says, I'm trying to write a series, but each story is a standalone like the good old days of Star Trek or Bonanza, but I keep overcomplicating everything. Yeah, that's not, that's not good. A lot of people on right now, though. Overcomplicated in a good way, Haas. Exactly. Like writing a Jeffrey Deaver book. 47 twists and turns by the end. You're like, I don't remember who's who in this book. So the victim is the killer, is the victim? That's pretty much how you describe a Jeffrey Deaver book. It all works. Yes, definitely watch commercials. I'm going to write a little bit more, and then I'm going to look like I've stopped moving, like it's frozen. You also got to figure out where you're going to sell 15K. That's always the problem as well. Tom says Jeffrey Deaver's red herring has a red herring. Yeah. And then that also has a red herring. It's crazy. You get to the last 3 lines on Jeffrey Deaver's books, and he's like, you're like, oh, but it was the person that you had no idea that he mentioned in the beginning of the story. It works. Great writer, but man, there's twists and turns. Well, my intention is to write, say, 4 to 6 15K stories, then package them in one volume for print sales. Gotcha. Troy says, my vampire novella ended up being 20K, but I have about 30K worth of short stories involving some of the characters. After I'm through posting it to Substack, I'm going to publish it as a fix-up novel. We all just got to keep moving ahead. You know what I'm saying? No matter how long or short you write, make sure it's the best it can be, and get it out there for people. Or as a wise man once said, get it on, bang a gong. Get it on. The last book I did was supposed to be one massive novel that crossed about 8 acts, but had to be scaled to about 6 to 7 books. Ren says, and I don't want to attract all the 20-somethings who play with writing fantasy novels to show up on my channel. Yeah. Yeah, that would not be good either. That review, if you do a review of it, that review needs to be, this is probably the only fantasy novel I'm ever going to read. Well, my wife was doing her Lunch Ladies Book Club podcast where they were doing reviews of books. It literally said on everywhere, we are not interested in romance. We are not interested in fantasy. We are not interested in super long books. Like, it was this whole list of things that they did not want to read and review. And man, every day somebody would send, here's my romantasy. It's 897 pages long for a review on your podcast. It was like, no, we don't. You didn't read at all. It says, not that they can't hang out with me. I just don't want to review their books. Yeah, and have to read all of their books. I can understand that, Lorraine. You get bombarded with stuff if you don't draw the line. You got to draw the line. The book Lorraine is reading, that's my sci fantasy, got pulled for a massive rewrite. Do they review pizza stories? I think they do. I put that one aside to read the new one, Matthew. The cool part was, like, author Alan Eskins, my wife is a big fan of. And then she got to meet him at BoucherCon this year, which was pretty cool. And he remembered her. He remembered the review and everything, which is cool. I think I'm going to go about another 15 minutes or so. Because I'm going to be honest with you, my back is tightening up again. I'm going to go do some reading. Yeah, you got to do some laundry, man. You got to do. I got laundry on my list today too. On a Bouchercon meeting Jordan Harper's mustache. Yes, I'm gonna have to say yes. Or interrupting him and Ace Atkins talking in the hallway. And then realizing I did it very rudely, I just walked right up to him and just started talking. Ray says, all the best to your mom, Matthew. Now you're just rubbing it in, Lorraine. Now you're making us all look like a fool. Hope you have a great day. I think he said he'd be right back. I put my pizza store in a collection and named the book after it, Spicy Constellation. I never wrote a pizza story for that, but I did write one afterwards that's in one of my short story collections. But I made sure in my author note to say, I didn't write this for that pizza collection. I also remember I was at Nikon one year, and somebody, when he did the roast thing, one of the people had to read a story, one of the guests, and she stood up there and she's like, listen, this is my pizza story that got rejected, like everybody else's. And damn it, I'm reading this pizza story. And then she read her pizza story. And I was like, yeah, that wasn't a good pizza story. Can't remember if I wrote it for that submission or not. I didn't have a pizza story at the time. I couldn't come up with anything good. I can't write a pizza story. My stories are taking place in 1873 right now. I don't think pizza was around yet. Pizza was invented in 1873. I don't know if you know that. So it could have very well been, what's this? What's this in your brick oven? Well, we call that a pizza. See? So easy. It's like I'm writing this thing for you. Ryan says, Westerns, Haas? Tom says, however, a pizza bagel wasn't invented until 1982 when I invented it. I always wondered if that was you. Then I'm writing a pizza story. Just mine is about two kids tripping who stick a pizza to the ceiling, and if the pepperoni falls, it means something like, hey, let's kill the kid in the dorm room next door while arguing about Roth versus Hagar. That right there, that argument could lead to killings. Western fantasy horror, Lorraine, probably not anything anybody is really interested in besides me. I recall eating pizza bagels in the 70s while watching Hee Haw. Matthew's back. John Nadell used to make us pizza bagels after school every day when we were in junior high. So in the early 80s. Probably right around the same time or a little bit after 1982 when Tom Duffy invented them. I remember John Nadell was like, hey, there's this weird dude in New York, and he invented this thing. I just saw it on the internet, and I'm like, I'm 12. It's 1982. What the heck is the internet? And John's like, don't worry about it. You'll be on it in the future. Let's just worry about these pizza bagels. I'm gonna be honest though. I don't think I have ever in my entire life made pizza bagels. No, he. I thought he was going to be. It says BRB, be right back, which led me to believe that Mike Matthew would be back. And guess what, Lorraine? So far, my grocery list is blueberry muffins, smoked sausage, creamer, red potatoes, and chicken patties. I have more than enough cinnamon raisin bagels, Lorraine. Before you get worried, I'm good. Boop boop boo doo ba doo boop boo doo. He just had to throw them in the dryer. She got very worried. Cinnamon raisin pizza bagel wasn't invented. Yeah, I mean it's probably still delicious. Or is it, hey, when I say I'm going to do laundry, I disappear for at least 15 minutes. Matthews is worried over me. I'm not worth worrying over. Unless you're my husband, then he worries when I don't answer. That does make sense. So I read on somebody's Substack thing that they want their a call out to have all publishers and writers uh, under your byline for every story to say not written with AI to prove that you didn't write using AI. And then my simple argument would be, but then AI is going to steal that and copy it, and then every story will also begin with not written with AI. So what's really the point there? That's just my take. I'll try to keep moving my head whenever possible. I'm just trying. I have no idea where the story's going. I'm at 609 words now. I went back to it. I wrote about 400 words on the other thing though. Charlie says, if anything, someone who uses AI should say that, which they won't. AI doesn't work like that. It wouldn't ever write not written with AI. Then it would work. Then by your reasoning, Chad, it would work. I just feel like since it's stealing everything else, if every story suddenly had that in the beginning, that would AI would feel that that's the way you start a story, not written by AI. Tom says, sounds like something someone would say when they wrote something with AI. Yeah. Lorraine says, I don't look at abbreviations. Haas says, shoot, they keep trying to use AI to prove whether or not somebody wrote with AI, and the AI always gets it wrong 80% of the time. How's anybody going to know if anything was written by AI at this point? Yeah. Amazon requires you to note if you use AI. Yeah, but you can also lie, which is what a lot of these places were doing. They were not saying people were pumping out 1,000 books a month before they changed how many books you could put out every day. They're pumping out 1,000 books a month, and they're not checking that box, because why would you check that box? And then automatically they'll be like, yeah, nobody's going to buy this because it's an AI book. They're going to be liars. Wouldn't it be great if you could always tell something was written by AI, because in every book it would try to sneak in the sea was angry that day? Yeah. And then I would get flagged for my book, The Sea Was Angry. Great, Chad, trying to cancel me. 1,000 books a month, definitely not AI, totally human written. Yeah, I mean, I could write at least 900 books a month if I really, really, went down to it. Robert Chachu says, Amazon refused to use an AI checker because they're no good anyway. Yeah. Obviously, if there's an M dash in the book, it's AI. Yeah, that's the stupidest thing. Where did they get that from? Oh, I don't know. From books that have an M dash in their books. I use them. I love them. I tend to write my books in about 4 months. That's, you got to write 1,000 a month. So what is that like? So roughly, every 45 minutes, if you're writing a book with no sleep or anything, you should get it done. That lady who said she writes in about 45 minutes. There are people selling a script of prompts to write full novels. Inside the prompts are sections for author names and books you want them to emulate. It's disgusting, yeah. And you're probably seeing all of those ads as you're watching this. Lorraine says, there's always a stupid purple prose line that doesn't make sense every other paragraph. Yeah. Charlie says, that is disgusting. I can write my short story in about 6 weeks, and I'm terrified I'm going to be accused of using AI. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Here's my thing. I've written 500 stories published. I'm sure AI has used parts of some of those. I'm sure if I put any of mine through that filter, they would go, yeah, AI. Just got to install a desk toilet next to the refrigerator. Yeah, exactly. AI written work is slop. It's a lot of repetition. There are a ton of people on Reddit talking about it. Don't give slop a bad name. Isn't that a Bon Jovi song? I don't know. I just, all we can do is just write our stories. See what happens. If it's his personality that doesn't read like a soap opera house, it won't look like AI. It has personality that doesn't read like a soap opera. Charles Dickens came back AI. Charles freaking Dickens, the AI detectors are crap. In all fairness, Charles Dickens, he did write in AI. So he write. I mean, can you blame him? He's like, I don't want to write this stuff. Let me just use my laptop. Charles Dickens like, let me just sit here and use my laptop. Come on, you think Abraham Lincoln wrote that 7 years ago speech? That's all AI. Didn't Dickens invent AI? Supposedly. Charlie, there's no real yes on that one. I heard it was Geezer Butler. Haas says, thanks, Lorraine, and you're right. Thankfully, my voice proves I'm not using AI because AI can't write that badly. I mean, that's what, one way of looking at it, I guess. Have confidence, sir. You just keep writing and keep getting better. I believe that's a Tesla song or something. Confidence with that, exactly. All right, my back is killing me. I've been trying to move so it's not hurting, but just sitting in a chair for this long is starting to hurt. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me today. Thank you everybody who watches this afterwards. Everybody who watches through all the commercials, all of the ads. I appreciate it. I put socks into AI and it broke. AI said, "Yeah, we didn't write this garbage." I might not say in your book's garbage, you know what I mean. And just thanks everybody for hanging out, subscribing, doing all the things that you do. I will be back on tomorrow. Dang man, I'm sure you write well. Lorraine is always so nice. And the rest of you are so mean. All right, Keith, I will see you. I'll see everybody tomorrow. We're almost at the end of the month here. This is crazy talk. Crazy talk. I hope you can get some writing done too as well. Everybody have a great day. Peace out, yellow peeps. I still don't know what that means.